In this video, you're going to learn how to train your horse to play fetch. Now, I like to teach fetch with a specific toy that helps them to grab hold of it. It's really simple. I just get a tea towel and I fill it with horse treats so that it smells good, it's nice and soft and easy to pick up, and it encourages your horse to start to mouth it. So once you've got your fetch toy, here's how to train it. So the first piece is just to reward your horse for targeting it, exploring it, and hopefully beginning to play with it with their lips and even with their teeth. Yeah, fantastic. So because it smells and is a feed and is obviously going to taste a little bit of it because that wet stuff's coming through, she's already starting to nuzzle it and nibble. Look at that, fantastic. Nibble at it, which is great because Rowan is not a very mouthy horse. Good. Fantastic. You ready? With a bit of practice, you can start to build the duration so that your horse is starting to kind of hold it in their mouth. Don't worry if it's a bit messy at this stage. Your horse will definitely start to get the idea as you continue to practice. Fabulous. Yeah, so good. So once your horse will take it from your hand and hold it for a few moments, the next piece is to start giving them the idea that they've got to give it to you, to pass it to you. And I do this, there are a few different ways a few different elements and a few different ways that I teach it. But of course, the first piece is that they've got to be able to pick it up to give it to you, because if you've given it to them, they can't fetch it. So the first piece that I look at is starting to see if I can get them to pick it up off the floor. And this can be a bit tricky at first. You might need to begin to pass it to them lower and lower, and gradually build up until your horse is able to pick it up from the ground without you holding it there. So this is just a case of trying and seeing how how easily your horse gets this. You might need to, like I say, hold it there or point to it or just build up gradually to it until they get the idea to pick it up when you're not passing it to them already. You get it? Good. Fantastic, that's it. Good girl. Go back. That's it, good. Good. Again? Good. Get it? Yes. Fabulous. Yeah, good girl. Okay, this is another exercise I love to do that really teaches them it. So what I want them to do is begin to target my hand with the fetch toy. That's we're going to teach them how to pass it to me. So one thing I like to do is pass it to them out on one side. So hold out, in this case, in my left hand, and then as they take hold of it, hold out my right hand for them to put it into. Now, because you've been swapping out the fetch toy for treats for a while, then they're already quite focused on your hand, on when they're holding the fetch toy, about moving towards your hand. So this can be quite a good exercise and quite a simple progression to hold it out one side and get them to put it into your hand on the other. And then here with Rowan, working on the same thing. So can I crouch down? Can she pick it up low down or from the ground? Yes. And then if I stand up, can she lift her head? So again, sort of starting to follow my movements while holding the fetch toy, but you can see that with Rowan, she still needed a bit of help from the ground here, where I needed to hold it on the ground for her, because if my hand wasn't there, she wouldn't pick it up. Very good. And I'm often grabbing hold of it at this point because they don't quite know to pass it to me yet. So it depends on the different elements that you're working on. But if I've asked them to pick it up low down and then I stand up, I'll often grab it before they drop it, just to kind of give them the idea that my hands, I'm going to take hold of it. So you're just really starting to get that idea of, you give it to them in one place and you take it off them in another. So to make sure that they really understand it's to target your hand while holding the fetch toy, then you can really use when you cue to make that really clear. So, like I said, when they pick the fetch toy up, that's when I'll hold my hand out and ask them to target. And hopefully they'll start to put it together a little bit like Heather and Rowan did, where they'll sometimes target your hand with the fetch toy, especially because you'll only be asking them to, target your hand a few inches away from where their nose is. But what you want to make sure is that they really understand they've got to keep hold of the fetch toy while they target your hand. This is the next stage. So in order to do that, I ask them to pick the fetch toy up, and when they're holding it, I hold my hand out for them to target. If they pass it to me, fantastic, they get a reward. If they drop it, I drop my hand back down. So the target cue is only there if they're holding the fetch toy. So you can see me working it through with Heather here. So she has to pick it up. Then I ask her to target my hands. Oh, she did it really nicely that time. So she gets a reward. So here we go. So she picks up the fetch toy, I hold my hand out, she drops it, I take the targeting cue away. She picks it up again, I hold my hand out and ask her to target, she drops it, I take my hands away. And this is a really clear way of telling the horse that the targeting cue is only available when they're holding the fetch toy, and really puts those pieces together so they can begin to pass it to you. Finally, to put it all together, you can now begin to throw it a little bit of a distance from your horse, and then start to ask them to take a step to you with the fetch toy. So you have taught them to pick it up off the ground and to target your hand, and now you're just adding a little bit of distance in. So you can see I throw it, and Rowan has to take a step towards it. She picks it up, I hold my hand targeting cue out, and then she has to take a tiny step towards me. Now, often at the beginning, they'll drop the fetch toy when they first take a step, so you just have to play with it as they start to put those pieces together, just asking for one step at a time until they get the idea. So here she goes a step to it, and she holds it out, I hold my hand out. You can see there she dropped it as she started to take a step, so I took my cue away, and then she was able to pass it to me. So once your horse has got the idea, you can gradually start to increase the distance that you throw it away from you, that your horse has got to go and pick it up from, as well as, of course, the distance that they have to come and bring it back as well. You can start to change the fetch toy. I really quite like using dog toys, and this is it's like a pronged dog toy that's very robust, but always lands with one of the handles sticking up, so it's easy for Freckles to grab. You can start to increase the pace and ask them to trot back to you. Again, this can take a little bit of time for them to get the idea to keep hold of it and not drop it when they go into trot, but it's quite a fun variation. You can even start to ask for fetch when you're riding. So the main difference here is that your horse has to bend round with the toy, so you can start training this on the ground before moving into the saddle, but it's another fun variation, and it's very handy if you drop a glove. Thanks for watching, and I hope that helped you clear up fetch a little bit and inspired you to train some tricks with your horse. If you want to find out more, then do check out the Connection Training Club. This fetch blog was just a few short extracts from the full fetch video over there, so you can see it in a lot more detail, following the progress of both Rowan and Heather right through their training program. Now, the CT Club is an online membership site where you get access to hundreds of step-by-step training tutorials. We have loads of home study courses and all sorts of different topics. And we also have one on trick training and brain games, and that one covers lots of different tricks, as well as some more theory around kind of play and cognitive training for your horse and trick training and that kind of thing. You can also get a lot of support through our forum. We do study groups and Q&As and challenges, video reviews. There's loads of bits and pieces going on, and it's a really supportive, friendly and open-minded community from around the world. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then check out connectiontraining.com, where you can find out more about myself, Rachel, our approach, and you can also find out more about the CT Club and sign up there. You get the first month half price and you can cancel anytime. You also get instant access to everything as soon as you sign up. So nothing hidden there. Just come and check it out, see if it's for you, and we'd absolutely love to have you there. Also, don't forget to check out our best-selling book. If you just go to Amazon and search for Connection Training, you'll find it there, and that gives you a lot of information about our principles and lots of training tips in there too. All right, thanks for watching. See you soon.